Hey guys, this is Caesar. Cerebrus has a question on how I made the background for the Frags Away FFA logo for last year's LAN. And it's pretty simple. I basically use vector shapes to create this logo in particular. So I started a new document, grab the rounded rectangle tool, and I just drag out, I don't know, whatever I want, size-wise. The next thing I do, instead of dragging out another rounded rectangle tool, I just copy the one I have in the middle. So I'm only going to duplicate it once, and I'll show you why. I'm going to move this to the top. I'm going to call it primary. I'm going to call this one left, and I'm going to duplicate the left again. Okay, so what you can do is you can turn a grid on if you want. It's under View, Show, Grid. You can see a grid if it helps you. I believe they're like a pixel by pixel, but I can't remember the exact dimensions. But basically, I just use the arrow key and nudge this over. Let me change the color of my primary for a minute here. See what's going on. Alright, so I'm nudging this left one here over to where I think where I think I want it. So let's say right about there. Now you can turn a snap function on under View. You can snap to like guides and stuff like that, so I could just literally just drag it and it would snap to it, but I'm old school, like to nudge it. So now I've got my my copy here that I've got highlighted, and I'm going to use the magic wand and select it, and I'm just going to nudge that over until I kind of get it where I want it, I guess. And then I just hit delete. Whoops. Make sure the layer you want to delete from is selected. So I delete from that layer, and that's my shape now. So let me do a deselect. So that's pretty much what I did. Now I can take that shape and I can nudge it closer if I want, you know. So instead of making, now what I do is I take I duplicate the left layer that I made. I do an image or an edit, transform, flip horizontal, and I'll basically just drag it over here. It's the same distance away. So that's pretty much how I created my logo. I didn't do anything too fancy. And then what I did to add the border, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this gray again, and I'll show you how I made my border for these. Turn that off. I just used a stroke and I set it to inside, and I changed the color to white, and I probably made it, I don't know, 6 looks good. So you just repeat that on the other two. So I'll do a stroke, right, and I'm going to do inside, seeing it keeps it sharp, and I'll change it to 6. I'll change the color to white. I probably could have done this before I copied it and flipped it, but it's not really a big deal. So here's 6. I'm going to switch it to inside, color white, and it's done. I mean, it didn't take me any time. I'm basically using the shapes I get from Photoshop, and then using those same shapes to cut. See, one of the issues I have with if you take this center image here, let's just duplicate it for shits and giggles, and if you start free transforming that to make cuts, your radiuses get bigger. So you see how my radius is bigger now than my So if I go to make that cut, it's not gonna look the way I want it to look, because I wanted it to kind of all be in line. But you know, like I said, it all depends on the kind of look that you're going for. You know, if you're going for a look where you wanted those to, you know, have maybe not such a, you know, come in so close on this corner. I mean, yeah, you could just free transform it, move it to, you know, snap it to the center, and use that to cut and make it, you know, less. It'd be more like this corner here than this corner here, which would probably look better too. But whatever, it's just kind of how I did it. So, but let me turn this grid off because it's annoying. But hopefully, you found this tutorial helpful on how to build your shapes, and I'm going to put the PSD up for the logo on the question that Cerebrus posted, so he can look at the file too. But that's how I did it. This is Caesar from GamerGraphics.com, and why don't you leave some feedback or rate this video. Thanks.